Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video on my channel, and I've been spending almost 2 weeks grinding Mastery level 20 on every single Hitman map. And yeah, if you don't see the giant tier list in front of you or didn't look at the title at all, we're doing a Hitman tier list. And like I just said, I got Mastery level 20 on each map, and some of my thoughts I had before kind of changed. Some maps went up, some maps went down, or they just stayed the same. So we got our regular tiers S, A, B, C, D, F. I also added pass, which you will see what this is for second. But that's enough rambling. I don't think you care about that. Let's start with the actual list and start out with the ICA facility. Now, I'm putting this in pass because the ICA facility isn't even a real map. It's just a tutorial. So I think it's unfair putting it low on the list because it's not really supposed to be a mission. That's why I'm putting it in pass. Santa Fortuna. I don't know. I have a mixed opinion on this map. Some parts of it I like, some other parts I really hate. If we're gonna start with positive first, I like the idea of the map. Cartel next to a rainforest, and I like the village aspects, and the visuals are nice. I like the bar. The mission stories are interesting, like the tattoo one or repairing the cocaine machine. But gameplay wise, it's just kind of dreadful. I mean, all three targets are in like heavily guarded areas. Two of them were in mansions, and the last one, Jorge's, in the plant field. And there's guards everywhere, so it just doesn't really feel that good to play, especially suit only. And this has some unique kills like pushing Rico in the hippo pool, or crushing Jorge with a cocaine machine, or using the cement machine on Andrea. But I don't know, just gameplay wise, it kind of lacks. It's not boring, or it's not, like repetitive, but it is a bit dry, at least in my opinion. So I'm gonna put it in C, like in middle of the road. It could be better, could be worse. So just middle of the road. Mumbai. Okay, some people might not agree with me, but I'm putting this in S tier. Hear me out. Hear me out before you start rambling in the comments about how you're gonna kill me. Mumbai is a good map. Now I get it. It's the biggest map in the game by far, and that's what I like about it. I like exploring. Now, Hitman isn't an open road game, but they definitely do have large maps, and I always liked exploring the maps. Seeing what NPCs have to say, what their dialogue is, finding weapons, tools, and just exploring. And Mumbai does that perfectly. There's so many different stories you can hear from other NPCs. There's so much to explore. There's so many items you can find. It's it's pretty nice, and you can also get unique mission stories in it by just looking around. Now, it is a bit exhausting playing Mumbai, I will admit that. There's three targets and the map is huge, and having to find the maelstrom every single time does make this a little bit repetitive. But just how much I like the map kind of makes up for that. So yeah, it's not the best map in the game. Mumbai isn't the best map. There is its problems, and but yeah, one bad thing about Mumbai is that in freelancer it can be a bit annoying, as some targets are in really public areas like the slums, and it's almost nearly impossible to kill them without being caught. So yeah, except for some freelancer targets and having to find the maelstrom every single time, it's a really good map. Wilton Creek. I'm putting this in A tier, and for one reason. Now I know, before you jump on me again, Wilton Creek is great. It's a medium-sized map. I like the soundtrack, and I feel like the suburbs work so well for Hitman. Like the mission of Blood Money, it just works out really well. And this is a much better version of Another Life from Blood Money. It's, you can look around in most of the houses, and I just like walking on the streets, and the targets are interesting. Janus is pretty interesting, and Like Mumbai, I like listening to dialogue, and there's some pretty interesting dialogue. But the one thing that drags this map down from S tier is finding the clues every single time. Now, unlike Mumbai, where yes, it is also repetitive finding the maelstrom, the map it does make up for that because for how much you can explore it. But since Whittleton Creek is pretty small, it's I don't know. It's just there's nothing to really make up for the clues. And if they just made it optional on the first playthrough, that could have put this in S tier above Mumbai. But since you have to find three clues, because you don't have to find the maelstrom three times in one playthrough, it's just not good. That's what I hate about it. So on replay playthroughs, you would always just choose the fastest options to find the clues, and it's just not fun. After the first or second time, it just becomes really repetitive. And except for that one reason, it could have gone in the S tier, but this is gonna go on top of A tier. Isle Scale, this is gonna go in B tier. I like the kind of like Mumbai or Wilton Creek, or I guess maybe Santa Fortuna. I really like the setting of it. Now I know some people hate it; they find it too over the top, but I like the island in the middle of the ocean where like these paranoid billionaires are trying to save themselves. And I just like the idea and like the masks, and I like the classical soundtrack. But kind of the biggest problem with it is gameplay. I mean, there's people everywhere. I swear, if I'm going to take a shit, there's gonna be some guy looking at me. There's people literally everywhere, and it is a bit annoying. And which does not make sense. There should not be people literally everywhere. And the targets aren't really that good either. Sophia and Zoe, they always move in public areas, and they aren't really that fun to isolate. But they aren't too terrible. But yeah, I mean, if the targets were better and if there wasn't so many people everywhere, this could have gone to A tier, hell, maybe even S tier. But one thing that does save this from going in the C is because of the homing briefcase, and the homing briefcase is hilarious. I don't care if you don't find that funny. It's funny, and you're gonna like that. New York S. This is above Mumbai. New York, first of all, is where I live. My homeland, and second of all, it's perfect. It idea is really nice. A bank again. Most of these maps have good ideas. That's what a good thing I could say about Hitman is the unique set pieces, and it's really chill. There's only one target and one side objective, and you can do it in two ways. Is by finding the hard drives or robbing the bank. And one thing I don't like though is if the target Athena always stays in her office, and you can isolate her, but you have to find items or do really specific things like crash the stock market or something. So if she had a little bit more of an open loop, like maybe if she occasionally walked outside or something, that would have been nice. And another thing that would have been cool if you can like go on the streets, because I think this is on Wall Street. This takes place in New York. It would have been nice if we can at least look around Wall Street a little bit, maybe enter some stores or something like that. And kind of like Wilton Creek, I wish you can enter more of the houses, as some of the houses you can only enter the garage or the basement and not the actual house itself. But in New York, it's not as important as Wilton Creek, but in New York, it would have been so nice to be able to go on the streets and look around a bit. Except for that, it's perfect. And another thing is when you rob the bank, I wish you could have had a more loud option, like a payday style heist. Like where the bank robber disguise and start blasting everybody. That makes sense because this is supposed to be a stealth game, not an FPS game. So that makes sense, but it would have been really cool nonetheless. Haven Island. This is going in. I don't know. If there was like a C plus, I would put it there, but I'll put it in C. Haven Island, I like the visuals. I like it's in the Maldives. I like the water and the beaches. But there's an annoying glitch that the view cones are doubled by two times, so people could see you literally across the map, which is really annoying. And the targets aren't really that good. Lojima is a pretty good target. She is pretty isolatable, and I find her dialogue pretty interesting. She's a decent target, nothing really that special. But Steven, I think at least what I remember, his loop is that he just goes to the gym, and he walks back to like that island where there's guards everywhere, and then he just keeps repeating that. It's not a good loop, but he can be isolated if you use some tools, so it's not that bad. But Tyson Williams is by far the worst target. The mansion area, kind of like Isles Gale, there's people literally everywhere, and it doesn't help with the double view cones where you can be spotted even easier. So that does not really help. But yeah, it's I can't think of anything else that can save Haven Island from going higher than C. Dubai, this is going in S tier. Yeah, Dubai is really good. First of all, this was the first Hitman map I ever played because I bought Hitman 3 before it became Word of Assassination. And Dubai is just really good. I've been to the real Burj Khalifa, and it's not as spectacular as the one in Hitman. But I really like the idea, being on top of the world. I like seeing the clouds, and it's really scalable. You can climb many ledges and pipes. There's a lot of shortcuts, and it's kind of easy. Only two targets, no objectives or anything. And yeah, there's really not much else I can say about Dubai. I feel like a lot of people forget about it. I feel like it deserves more justice. But yeah, still good. Dartmoor, this goes in the A tier. Now, some people may not agree with me, but Dartmoor is really good. Just like New York, only one target and one side objective, two ways to do it. But Dartmoor lacks in one reason is that it focuses too much on the murder mystery. It is really cool your first time playing it. You can become the detective and you can do the murder mystery. The first time it's really unique, but once you solve it, it just kind of loses its merit, and it feels like a good majority of the map is dedicated to that, and it just kind of feels pretty lackluster for me. I mean, it would have been nice if it was like contracts, if it was like rainy and like gloomy during a thunderstorm. Well, I mean, it's fine, but if this didn't lean too much on the murder mystery, and that could have maybe saved it for me. But still a good map. I really enjoyed the murder mystery. While I still could do it, good. Berlin, this is S tier. Do I even have to say why? The setting is really good. I keep saying that the setting is really good, but like I like the dingy nightclub, and the most unique. This is probably the most unique map in the game because unlike the regular maps where your targets are revealed 24/7, at least on the first playthrough you have to actually find them and check if they're the target. Now them being enforcers just kind of give it away, but at least somewhat you still have to find them. And I really found that fun trying to find and investigate my targets. That was really fun. The map is really good. There's just I would definitely play Berlin over New York, Mumbai, and Dubai anytime. Sean King, if I even said that right. This is gonna go in B. I keep saying I like the setting, but I really do like the setting. This is probably the best setting in my opinion, except for maybe Berlin or Dubai. I like the rainy, like Blade Runner esque streets, and that this is the first and only Hitman map to have rain. And it's just, at least setting wise, I would live in this city if I know Chongqing is real and it's a really nice place at night. But honestly, if I had to go to the Hitman Chongqing, I would totally live there. It's really nice. And I also like the block, like the secret experiments going on. I find that pretty interesting. And the gameplay is pretty good. Both targets, and they finally learned to make the data core only mandatory on the first playthrough. Otherwise, Chongqing would have been at C or even D, or I'll put it at A. I mean, now I'm saying it to myself out loud. It deserves more of an A tier. Paris, this is S. Paris is pretty good. It was the first Hitman map when they used to do it episodically, so they had to make it good. Kind of like Dubai, it's really scalable, really traversable, and yeah, it's pretty good. The disguises are pretty unique, like the Sheik or Helmet Kruger. I find that pretty interesting. And overall, it's a pretty good map. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely really good. It's really traversable, like I said, and I do find the dialogue pretty interesting. So yeah, not much else I can say. Mendoza, this is gonna go and be I like the violin soundtrack, kind of like Ilo's Gale. I'll put this above Ilo's Gale. It's good. And also, I'll put Haven Island over Santa Fortuna. I mean, what's there I can't really repeat? It's interesting setting. I keep saying that, but like I said, I like the violin soundtrack, and the mission stories are interesting, like how you could kill both targets by proxy, and you don't even have to kill them. And this has some of the most brutal kills that you could rush tomorrow with a great presser or shred her whole body or make her freeze to death. These are pretty gruesome deaths. But gameplay wise, it doesn't feel that special as tomorrow is a horrible target as she almost exclusively walks in public areas. And it's really hard to isolate her because she has her group of bodyguards. So just because of that, it goes down 2 tiers because he's an insufferable target. Don Yates is okay. He's pretty isolatable. He has a pretty okay loop. But yeah, just because of that, it goes lower. Romania, this gets a pass. I feel like people hate it so much because it's not a massive sandbox map. It is linear, I can say that. But I like for what it is, it does its job. It's supposed to be the finale to the Hitman story. I didn't really care that much about the Hitman story, but it's a pretty good ending. And it's not trying to be too much, so you can't really go too hard on Romania. Sapienza, S tier, right above Mumbai. Here we go. Sapienza, I mean, this is like the golden child of the Hitman community. I mean, it's great visuals. I keep saying that, great visuals, but yeah. I like the water, the coastal town. There's so many unique parts of the map, like the lab, or the church, or the beach, the sewers. And yeah, there's a reason that a lot of people like this. Put this above New York. Yeah, this is the golden child. Not much else I could say that hasn't already been said. Marrakesh, this goes into like again. If there's a C plus, I'll put it there. I'll put this above Haven though. Marrakesh is good. I like the setting of Morocco and the lore. I like a coup happening. I've always liked social studies and stuff, so I really like the idea of a group trying to overthrow the Moroccan government. You know, Reza Zaydan and Klaus. The lore is a little bit too dramatic, but I like it. But Marrakesh itself is not that good gameplay wise. I mean, in Zaydan's compound, it's literally only guards, which I mean, it makes sense. It's a military compound, but it is pretty annoying as if you make one mistake, you're pretty much compromised. And Klaus, he's a little bit better, but I mean, it's consulate isn't really that good of a building. And the one unique thing about this is that you can lower both targets to the tunnels, but I mean, it's just not that much redeeming about it. So this is the top of the C tier, and that's the best I can give it. Bangkok, I really tried to like this map, but D tier is a bit too rough. I'm gonna put it above Santa Fortuna, or no, I'll actually do it before. Bangkok, it's unlike the literally every other map where I said I like the setting. The hotel setting is fine. It's kind of generic, and Ken Morgan is a horrid target. Mendoza was somewhat saved as, you know, I really enjoy killing Tamara Vidal because of how much of a bad target she is. But like, even at least she has a better loop than Ken Morgan. He just walks around in one circle. Like he just walks around the outside area, goes in the kitchen, and then just goes back around. That's his entire loop. And it's really hard to isolate him because of his bodyguard. So it's just really annoying. And I like the idea with the map we're trying to go for. You know, like a rock band set up in one of the hotels. But it's just not that fun, honestly. And there was that one guy on the stairs who was an enforcer on almost every disguise, which is really annoying. But yeah, I tried to like Bangkok, but I just don't like it that much. Colorado, again, like Bangkok, I really tried to like this map. I really tried to say something positive about it, but I can't. Putting this an F, but not for the reason you think. I'm putting it an F because it tries to be like an FPS game, kind of. It's just too rough. I can admire the idea. I can go with the idea. A all hostile map, but you could just get a disguise in like 10 seconds and get access to like 50% of the map. And if you make one mistake, you're gonna get gunned down by the whole U.S. military. And this just lacks creativity. I mean, the map itself looks pretty dull. There's nothing interesting going on. And overall, there's nothing positive I can say about it. Like, the targets are pretty bad. I think the only good target is Ezra Berg. I think he's the only decent target. The rest, kind of like Isles Gale or Mendoza, all the targets walk in public areas. And unlike those maps, if you get caught, oh, you're gonna get gunned down immediately, like you're in American school. Okay, but yeah, it's just not good. There's no nice thing I can say about it, except for maybe Ezraberg being a decent target. Hokkaido, I mean, this is a good map. I'm putting it in B. I'll put it above. I'll put it at the best of B tier, and for one reason. It's a good map. I'm gonna say it again, but I like the setting. A super elite exclusive hospital in the mountains of Hokkaido, and it's the last Hitman 1 map. Pretty good. The key card system is pretty unique, as instead of just having a key card, you can use it for disguises. Pretty unique, or you could just hack it with like a scrambler. But the reason it's not going to A tier is because playing Freelancer on Hokkaido is insufferable. And I've died on Hokkaido Freelancer at least 3 times. One time I had a syndicate leader I had to kill, and it was in the morgue where there was guards everywhere and cameras everywhere and that super tight small space, and there was 3 other syndicate leaders there. Like 3 other suspects. So there was like 4 different people with their own guards and cameras in that super tight space. Like, there was just no way for me to beat that without dying. And sometimes you can get seen through windows at the other side of the map, kind of like Haven Island, so that's really annoying, and at least freelancer wise. So that, and Yuki Yamazaki has a really long loop. Like, you have to wait like 5 minutes if you're trying to wait for a specific part of her loop. But except for like Freelancer and Yuki's loop, it's a good map. But just because of how big those 2 problems are, it's not going in the A tier. But I'll put it at top of B tier. Hawks Bay, this is Special Pass. I would say this is probably the best Special Pass. I like Hawks Bay. I'm gonna say it again. I like the setting. And I like the dark and moody atmosphere. I like the bushes. I find the dialogue pretty interesting since I'm a guy for dialogue, as if you couldn't tell already. And it's not trying to be too much. It feels like a more extended tutorial, which isn't necessary. But I mean, if the map was a bit bigger, and if the beach was a little bit smaller, and maybe if there was more explorable area, or if the house is bigger, it would have been nicer. But I'm putting it in the past because it's not really mainstream level. Finally, Miami. This is my most favorite map. This is going top of the crop. I would replay Miami anytime. It's really fun. The best idea by far at a racing event. The targets are so easily navigatable. There's so many different ways to end the race early. You can shoot one of the other cars to end the race, or you could become a marshal and like wave the flag, or you can get that chip and put it in the laptop and the race. Robert Knox is a decent target. He can be pretty isolated. He has a lot of opportunities. The dialogue is interesting. It's just, I know a lot of people say Sapienza is the golden child, but for me, it's Miami. Miami, I would play any day, and I would still find new ways to kill targets, and I would still find it fun to play. It's just really fun. Miami, cream of the crop for me. So yeah, that's my tier list. If you stayed this far, I'll be surprised. But that's why I haven't uploaded for a little while, is because I was getting Mastery level 20, because I wanted to do some stuff. And like I said, some of my opinions changed. Like Hokkaido used to be an A tier for me, then I brought it down a little bit. Marrakesh for me used to be in D tier until I played it a bit more. It grew on me a little bit. And yeah, so some of my opinions changed. I mean, you wouldn't know my original opinions, but some of them changed. And I'm pretty happy with this list. It's pretty accurate what I think of these maps. And yeah. Or if I take Hawks Bay out of the pass for a second, I would put it in like B tier. I'll put it in B tier, but I'm gonna keep it in pass. But if I had to give Hawks Bay, if you consider that a real mission, I'll put it in B tier. So that's my list. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out my other videos. I got a lot of more Hitman videos coming, and also other videos on other games. So stay tuned for that. I'm really, yeah, I'm stuttering. I'm gonna be uploading a lot of videos in the next like 2 weeks. So stay tuned for that, for like a good content drop. So make sure to turn on the bell, sub, do whatever. And I'll see you guys next time.